Welcome in, everyone, to the Football Addicts Anonymous podcast. Back here with Chris. Mark
Yep.
may or may not be on. We don't know. Uh, Logan's got other stuff to do right now, so just us for now, anyways. Yeah, not much went on this weekend in between the shows, but today we had some big news. So let's get to it.
Mhm.
And we'll finish the show as we've been doing with our mock draft series, doing picks 27 and 29, technically 32 also, with the Chiefs having 29 and 30.
Mhm.
So Bucks and Chiefs, though. Super Bowl 55 rematch mock draft. All right, starting off NFL news, we got some trades. We had we'll do the first trade here over the weekend. The Patriots added a wide receiver. Devontae Parker comes from the Dolphins along with a 2022 fifth round pick, and Dolphins get back a 2023 third rounder. I thought it was pretty solid for both teams.
Yeah.
Patriots needed wide receiver help, and they get a potential number one now.
Yeah, and Parker, obviously, he used to be the Dolphins' number one, but now with Waddle and Tyreek there, he was at least, or at the very most, he was the number three. So
Yeah,
it made sense for them to get rid of him. I'm just when the news came across, I was kind of surprised that it was to a division rival because we don't see that every day. And
yeah,
I mean, I know the Patriots need the wide receiver help, but
yeah, and the Patriots and Dolphins have history trading wide receivers.
mhm.
Obviously, the Wes Welker trade. And then there was another one too that I can't remember that was said about when this trade came out.
Yeah, I can't remember that one, but the Patriots have been known to trade within the division a lot. I mean, they did it, what was that now, 2 years ago with the Demaryius Thomas to the Jets trade. And so, yeah, they're no stranger to the trade within the division. It's just, I feel like this is one of the more notable ones. Obviously, like you already mentioned, Wes Welker, that's probably the most notable. But yeah, Devontae Parker could definitely make this trade look really good for the Patriots.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I thought they were just gonna run it, having a solid four deep at worst receiver with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, and they also signed Cedric Wilson in free agency as well. But I know one of the reasons the Dolphins did it was cap. They needed some money
Mm-hmm.
in order to, sign their draft class and do other just general cap maneuverings. So, yeah, I like it for both sides. I think it's pretty even.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the next trade, which I think my team won, because we have the greatest GM in the NFL. Howie Roseman is a genius. The Eagles and Saints today, about 45 minutes ago,
Yeah.
happened. The Eagles, they traded number 16, which they got in the Carson Wentz trade. I should have put that on there. That's from Indy.
Mm-hmm.
And the number 19 pick, which was the Eagles' original pick. And then they sent a 22-6, number 194, as well to the Saints. And like I said, I think the Eagles won by a landslide. They got number 18 back, the Saints pick in the first. They got a third rounder this year, 101, a seventh rounder this year, 237, a first next year, and a 2 in 2024.
Yeah.
So now they have 2 1s next year, 2 2s in 2024, along with still they have number 15 as well as number 18 now in the first
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah. This trade, when I first saw it kind of confused me because, I mean, the Saints didn't really move up much. They just kind of added another pick here. They only moved up 2 spots. And then with the other pick, they moved down a spot. And then they picked up that extra sixth pick. This to me shows that the Eagles weren't really that all that impressed with this draft class. Obviously, they got a first for next year's pick or for next year's draft. So I don't know. Obviously, we don't know who initiated this trade, but I'd assume that it was the Saints initiating the trade because I feel like the Eagles were a trade target for a lot of teams,
Yeah.
being that they had those 3 picks. But yeah, to me, this just shows that the Saints really like this draft class because they did, like I said, they did pick up that extra pick in this draft, and they gave up a pick for next year. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
I heard that the Eagles had been fielding calls, and they were the team that everyone was calling to try to get one of the 3 picks that they had.
Mhm.
Um, I also heard, which I'm not sure if it's true or not, they wanted to get ahead of a team like the Chargers for an offensive tackle because they need a left tackle with Teron Armstead gone to Miami.
Yeah.
Uh, so they need a tackle, and they also need some wide receiver help that they can get at 19 possibly. Um, and on the Eagles side, it's they didn't want to pay 3 fully guaranteed first round contracts.
Yeah.
And also, they now have draft capital next year if they figure out this season that Jalen Hurts is not their guy, and they'll have enough picks next year, depending on how the season turns out and where they are, and how the Saints obviously do. They'll have the draft capital to go up and get a guy if they need to next year in a far better draft class with guys like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud available next year.
Yeah. But it's kind of funny because I don't know. Maybe I'm just not remembering any other trades, but I feel like the Saints are one of the few teams that I don't want to say don't value their draft picks, but they're one of the few teams I've seen that trade this many draft picks in a trade. Obviously, they have that infamous one for Ricky Williams back in the day, trading their entire draft for him pretty much. But yeah, here they do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks, 3 of which are yeah, 3 of them are premium. The third rounder is still a pretty good pick, and then the 7th rounder is kind of just the one that's thrown in there. But yeah, the Saints. I'm kind of surprised that they are doing this trade though, because we've alluded to it a lot of times. They've seemed to kind of right the ship with the cap, but still, I thought that they were definitely in need of those picks. So again, they must really like certain players in this draft. So we'll see.
Yeah, so this year, anyways, I mean, it evens out in terms of number of picks. So they still have 7 picks in this year's draft. The Eagles now have, they still have 10, I believe it is. But yeah, again, I think the Eagles won. I know ESPN that they're pretty quick. They got grades out already on the trade. They gave the Eagles an A+. The Saints got a B. So pretty
Yeah, but
good on both.
I mean, yes, on the surface, this trade looks great for the Eagles, but we got to see who each team gets, and we'll revisit this trade in a few years when all these draft picks are drafted.
Yeah. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see our one and only mock draft kind of giving you a foreshadowing advertisement on that coming up on April 27th. Our one and only entire first round mock like we do every year.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just not remembering correctly, but I feel like we've had to redo a lot of these mock drafts this year when we didn't really have to last year, or like I don't remember this many trades being done like ever.
Yeah, it's the craziest offseason, I think, definitely that the show's ever been a part of. And it's also I looked at my my draft Excel spreadsheet. It's crazy. The Dolphins only have 4 picks now, I believe. Um, they're one of the teams with the lowest number of picks in this year's draft. They, yeah, they have 4 picks. 102, 125, 224, and 247. Yeah. I forget who the other ones are, but yeah.
And just kind of another side note for this too. Both of these teams are in need of wide receivers. There's no secret to that. Obviously, this is a deep wide receiver class, but there's still a couple veterans out there that I'm kind of surprised either haven't signed or there's been rumors that they're on the market. And the two that come to mind are one's a former Saint and Brandon Cooks with the Texans. I heard earlier today, I forget where I saw it, but apparently the Texans asking price is a 2, and that's it. So, I mean, the Eagles now just got that extra 2. I could maybe see them going out and getting a guy like that with that pick. Or, like, free agent wise, I think the best available guy is Will Fuller. So, go out and get a guy like that.
Yeah. Or if you want a veteran. I saw Emmanuel Sanders was on Good Morning Football today.
Yep.
I know Daniel Jeremiah put out a tweet about the picks, the Saints on the Saints end, saying that they had a trade worked out with Houston for Deshaun Watson, and maybe now the Texans want some players from that proposal and picks to move out of 3 for the Saints to go get their next quarterback. Not believing maybe that Jameis Winston's their guy. I don't know.
Yeah, but 3 is way too high for a quarterback, especially going all the way now.
Things happen. We've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah,
like the Bears trading up 1 spot for Mitchell Trubisky. And also one other thing on the Devontae Parker trade. The Cowboys had also expressed interest in trading for Devontae Parker before the Patriots ultimately won that one, coming from Adam Schefter. So Dallas is still looking for wide receiver help as well, apparently.
There you go. The trade I said before with Houston. That would be a good trade for them, I think.
Yeah. But all right. Let's move on to the rest of the news here. So, one of the great ones is finally done. Didn't play in 2021, was focused on his boxing career, but officially Frank Gore has retired. He's I don't know if he has yet, but he's going to sign a 1-day contract to retire as a 49er, the team that drafted him in the 3rd round, number 65 overall in 2005. Spent 10 seasons with the Niners, 05 to 2014, 3 years with the Colts, 15 to 17, and then 1 year each with the Dolphins, Bills, and Jets, making the AFC East tour.
Mm-hmm. Just got on New England. But I mean, I don't want to discredit his career because obviously he retires as the 3rd best rusher in NFL history with 16,000 flat.
That's hard to do. Get that flat.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just think it's more because I feel like it's kind of a similar situation with Larry Fitzgerald. I think it's more because of his longevity than anything. Like, I'm not saying he wasn't a good running back because he was, especially in his 49er days. But he only got to 16,000 because he kind of took on those like backup or whatever kind of roles with the Dolphins, Bills, and Jets there at the end of his career. So again, not discrediting what he did, but it's because he was able to stay on the field for so long that he got there.
Yeah, he played till he was 37 with his last season with the Jets. Yeah, like you said, third all time career rushing yards, 16,000 flat. Again, I don't know how you possibly do that to get it even right at a number. Like what is that? But yeah, 3,735 rushes, 81 rushing touchdowns, 484 receptions, 3,985 receiving yards, 18 receiving touchdowns, 5-time Pro Bowler. And what I found crazy, and it kind of helps your argument, Chris, he was only an All-Pro once, and he was a second-team All-Pro, and that was in 06, I believe.
That was his second year in the league, so that says a lot right there too. But I mean, I haven't looked at his like I haven't looked at his like individual season stats or whatever. Like I don't know how many times he eclipsed 1,000, but I mean, it had to be a lot because he only played. Didn't he play like 16 or 17 seasons, something like that? So.
Yeah, in his 16 years, he eclipsed 1,000 yards. 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 times, I think. Yeah, 9 out of 16. But I'll say 2 of those he got to 961 and 967. So almost 11 of his seasons he got to 1,000 yards.
So yeah, I mean he was exactly what he needed to be, but I mean, again, congrats on the career and all that. But just to go back to the 16,000 yard thing, I'm just happy that he actually hit the 16,000. I can't stand when there's athletes that retire with like, I don't know, like there's players in baseball that retired with like 598 home runs or something like that. Like you couldn't play one more season to get those last 2, or like just to make it current. Like Albert Pujols, the St. Louis great, he went back to St. Louis for this year now, and I think he's 17 away from 600, or 16 away from 700. I mean, so I'm just hoping he actually gets that because it's a nice round number there. But yeah, congrats to Frank Gore, and I mean, I don't think his son will be as good as he was, but let's hope he can have some flashes of his father.
Yeah, Frank Gore Jr. is definitely not as good as the original, considering he he transferred to Southern Miss, I think, and then he transferred to somewhere, I don't know. But yeah, only scored double-digit touchdowns once, 10 and 09.
That was the other thing that kind of surprised me too, is that he only got 81 career touchdowns.
Yeah, I was trying to think of who he was playing with in San Francisco for the majority of his years, and I couldn't think of the running backs in the 2000s for the Niners.
No, he had Alex Smith as his quarterback though for a long time.
Yeah, and I mean the Niners, they were all right in the 2000s, you know.
Yeah.
Had those couple years with Andrew Luck and Indy.
Mm-hmm.
Those were his 2 that he got so close to 1,000, 967, 961. Sandwich in between was 1,000-yard season in 2016. But yeah,
he was on the 49ers Super Bowl team against the Ravens, right? Or no, was he gone by then?
That would have been 2012.
I think so. So yeah, he still was then.
Yeah. Yep, never got the ring. The Jets couldn't do it for him, Chris.
If he really wanted a ring, the Jets are the wrong team to go to. I'm telling you that right now.
Hey, he put his 37-year-old body out there and gave them 187 carries for 653 yards and 2 touchdowns to go along with 16 receptions for 89 yards.
Kudos to him.
All right. Next thing on the docket here, the Dolphins. They were pretty busy this weekend because they also signed corner Xavier Howard to a 5-year, $90 million extension, $50 million in new money for him. So that is puzzling cap management in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of money in Tyreek Hill now. And now they have a massive amount of money at the corner position with both Byron Jones and Xavier Howard now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know where the rest of their money's going. And they signed Teron Armstead too, who was getting a massive deal.
Yeah. I mean, and they weren't in on the Deshaun Watson in the end. But to me, this just obviously there's still a couple of years left, but to me, this just signals that they're not planning on paying Tua.
Yeah.
I just think that they're going to roll the dice with a rookie when the time comes again.
Yeah, it's a lot though. They're doing a lot to help Tua for them to not eventually make him the franchise guy. So I mean, it could be a Philadelphia situation in Miami where they're looking at it and saying, yeah, maybe this is it, for Tua, drafted in 19. So he's going into 20, drafted in 20.
This is his third season then.
Yeah, last year was his second year.
Yeah.
So going into year 3, we've seen it. That's the year that you're supposed to make the step. Josh Allen did it. Who else did it year 3? Kyler, not really last year, but
Burrow was year 2. Lamar was that his rookie year that he won the MVP, or year 2, something like that?
Year 2, I think. But
Wilson won it in year 2. A lot of them are year 2, not year 3. But yeah, year 3 seems to be the make or break for a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not as high on Tua this year as I was last year.
And I've never been.
I still think he's the second best quarterback in that division. I think he's better than Mac Jones. He's better than Zach Wilson. And I think he'll show that this year with an upgraded offensive line and an upgraded wide receiver core.
And Zach Wilson will show why he's the second best. So.
What wide receivers, Chris?
I mean, there's
Olave.
They've been trying to trade for wide receivers, but
no one wants to trade with the Jets.
Tyreek only wanted to go to Miami because that's like his home or whatever. But
Tyreek said, "I'm good."
Yeah. But yeah, the Dolphins situation is confusing to me. Like you said, the cap situation, they're putting themselves in cap hell in the future.
Depends how they structure the contracts.
Well, that is true, but I mean, I could see like a Saints situation in a few years with the way that things are going. But what was I going to say? I'm surprised though that they ended up like going back to the piece of news here that put the Dolphins on the news. I'm kind of surprised that they actually extended Howard because I think especially last year, like even during the season up to the trade deadline, he was the subject of a lot of trade rumors. So
they restructured him last year with the pretty much promise that they would redo his deal this year.
Yeah.
So that was why they pretty much had to extend him.
Yeah.
And actually, over the cap, I don't know if This is well, I don't know when his new deal takes effect, if it's this year or next year. I think it's this year because on Over the Cap they have him as his cap number right now is the highest on the team, 16.4 million. Uh, and what's crazy is they have a lot of players that don't have high cap numbers. They only have 3 players above 10 million in cap number right now. And they still have around 13 million in cap space. So yeah, because Tyreek is only at 6.4 this year. Cedric Wilson 5.7. Teron Armstead's cap number this year 3.9 million.
Well, again, like I said, they set themselves up for this year, but in the future, these cap numbers are going to escalate. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if any of them are going to get to like the Matt Ryan cap hit number, but
Oh,
it'll be
next year
up
it's
there.
bad. Next year it is. Next year, the highest cap number on the team, Tyreek Hill, $31.2 million cap hit.
Yeah.
Teron Armstead, 20.4. Byron Jones, 18.8. Emmanuel Agba, 17.3. Then it's Xavier Howard at 15.3 and Jerome Baker, 11.9. Those are all the guys over 10 million.
And that's over 100 million right there between those 6 guys.
Yeah, their top 51 is two. It looks. See, yeah, they have 209 million in cap liabilities next year. 118.6 on the offensive side, 85.7 on defense, 4.8 on special teams.
Yeah, and half of their cap number is from those 6 guys. So, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then, I mean, Tua's close to 10 million next season, 9.6. Yeah, next year will be interesting in Miami. But yeah, there are currently 2 teams that are over the cap. At least it says they're over the cap. Whether they actually are, probably not, because that's a violation. But Bills and Patriots, 1 point.
I can't remember. You probably know better than I do, but I know obviously the Dolphins changed their coach, but do they still have the same GM? Or did they get a new one of those too?
No, Chris Greer is still the GM, I believe.
Okay. So he did all of this. So the GM can't even blame the previous GM because he did it.
Yeah, and they're actually, I think the Dolphins were one of a couple teams that were starting workouts today. I know today was the first day of all season workouts. OTAs. I always forget which one comes first. If it's OTAs or mini camp. I think mini camp's the one in June. June. Yeah, I think OTAs are right now though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, teams with new head coaches can start this week. And I know the Dolphins and the Bears were 2 teams that I remembered that I think start today.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see. I didn't put that in the script because it was kind of irrelevant. People don't really care. But anyways, a couple signings here. The Saints, they re-signed safety PJ Williams to a 1-year deal. He returns for his 8th season in New Orleans. PJ Williams.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about that one.
I'm sure he's best friends with Bills wide receiver Stephon Diggs. Free agency wise, couple signings here. The Texans poaching a division rival player. They signed running back Marlon Mack. I feel like Marlon Mack didn't have the market that he thought he was going to have. He's coming off an injury-plagued season, but didn't really factor into the offense with Jonathan Taylor and Indy. So,
and I mean, he just basically went from one loaded backfield to another. Not saying that the Texans' backfield is any good, but they just have so many running backs. I think that Marlon Mack is still going to be buried on that depth chart.
Well, they really don't have that many running backs, Chris, because all those guys were like 1-year deals. Philip Lindsay is a free agent, I believe. Or at least he's not listed on the depth chart on ESPN right now. The 4 guys listed on the depth chart: Rex Burkhead, Dare Ogunbowale, Marlon Mack, and Royce Freeman, who they signed from Carolina.
Oh, David Johnson's not on the team anymore, is he?
I guess not.
Huh.
Nope, he is a free agent. And Philip Lindsay, I believe, is also a free agent. Yes, both are free agents.
Then I retract my statement because I thought that both of those guys were still on the team. So yeah, Marlon Mack has a solid shot at being the starter there in Houston. Then I guess
I think they're going to commit to Rex Burkhead. Sexy Rexy had a good season last year for them.
Yeah, I don't think that any of those guys have the ability to be the sole like feature back though. So
that's why
I do think it's going to be more of a committee, but
they'll draft one.
Yeah,
they'll get Breece Hall in the second round. Right before the Jets.
Yeah, of course.
But the Jets can draft Kenneth Walker. I actually saw again, you know me, I hate CBS Sports, but they had an Eagles 7-round mock today, where we got Kenneth Walker in the second or third, I can't remember. So be interesting with that power run game that they want to do in Philly. The other free agency signing we had, punters are people too. Pat McAfee was at WrestleMania. He participated in WrestleMania this weekend. I don't watch WWE like I used to, but I saw all the tweets about Pat McAfee getting, I forget what the move was, stunnered. By Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think it was. So that was funny to watch. But the Browns, they have a new punter. They signed Packers punter Corey Bjorquez. So the Scottish Hammer is, I don't know if he's still signed in Cleveland or not, but if he is, he has competition. Jamie Gillen, I'm talking about, for those who don't know, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really follow the punters too much, so I don't know if he's still a Brown or not.
And your Jets today, Chris, they released tight end Ryan Griffin. I know you're very saddened by that.
I mean, the writing was on the wall as soon as they went out and signed 2 other tight ends. So, I think now they have 3 tight ends at the moment still, because they have the 2 that they signed this year, and they have the undrafted free agent from last year, Kenny Yeboah.
Yes, they have Tyler Conklin and who was the other one? CJ Uzama. They still got Daniel Brown.
Oh, they might have him too. I forgot about him.
I couldn't remember if he went to the Texans or not.
I don't know, but
he was a Texan, I think, but
that was the biggest fleece of a trade that Joe Douglas has done so far, though. Sending him to the Chiefs for Duvernay Tardif or whatever his name is, and then Daniel Brown being cut by the Chiefs and re-signing immediately with the Jets.
Okay, so the 4 that show on ESPN's depth chart: Uzama, Conklin, Wesco, and Yeboah. Trayvon.
Yeah, but Wesco isn't even a tight end. They use him as the fullback.
But they don't. They have a fullback now, though. They signed Nick Baldwin from Detroit, or at least he was Detroit. They signed him from the Saints.
He was with the Jets at the end of last year too. But
okay, yeah, he's wearing a Lions jersey in his picture.
But I mean, Wesco. I don't think Wesco's ever even caught a pass in his career. I think he's been exclusively the fullback. So I don't know.
The pride of West Virginia, Trevin Wesco. All right, and then the Ravens, they're looking for some backup quarterbacks. They worked out former Steelers and Jags quarterback Josh Dobbs today. So good for them. Looking for I don't know why they need to upgrade behind Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley. They have a awesome third string quarterback in Trace McSorley.
Do they though? I thought that they got rid of him.
Oh yeah, that's right. That or when he signed oh yeah, he signed with the Cardinals, that's right. I forgot about that. He signed with the Cardinals. So yeah, they're looking to get a third guy. Because I don't think they signed Josh Johnson. Yeah, they only have Jackson and Huntley on the roster. So looking to get a third guy there, possibly even a fourth for camp reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's Josh Dobbs. And then the Cardinals, they hosted one of the top running backs still available. Chiefs running back Darrell Williams. They hosted him for a visit, looking to get some depth behind James Conner after Chase Edmonds went to Miami.
Yeah. And Williams, he actually performed really well. So I'm surprised that he's still out there because he performed well in definitely a pass first offense there. And I'm kind of surprised he's not still a Chief, to be honest.
Yeah, they have behind James Conner, Eno Benjamin, Jonathan Ward, and Jalen Samuels. So,
yeah, that's a thin backfield.
Cardinals are a team that need wide receiver help. Good Lord.
Well, they got Rondale Moore and DeAndre Hopkins, and I don't even know who else.
And then Antoine Wesley, Greg Dortch, Andy Isabella, and Andre Bachelia. So, yeah. All right, that's all the NFL news. Nothing else. Justin Evans signing with the Saints. So they signed another safety. Bucks former second round pick, Justin Evans, signed with the Saints to a 1-year deal.
Huh.
And then this is a statement from the Commanders. Allegations with their ticket revenue. I have not heard anything about that. Yes, there were allegations of withholding ticket revenue from the NFL, I think was what I think that's what the allegations were. I had heard a little bit about it. I hadn't really read in depth too much about it. But yeah, there's a statement on Twitter if you want to go look at that. All right. So we got the Bucks and Chiefs mock draft. When I was doing this slide, I was like, good Lord, the Chiefs have way too many draft picks. I'm like, why? Why do they have so many draft picks? Freaking Dolphins. But yeah, so the Bucks, they have all three of their original picks, 27, 60, and 91. Chiefs, 29th overall. That is the Niners' original pick. Got that in the Tyreek Hill trade with Dolphins. 30th overall, they got number 50 from the Dolphins, Tyreek trade as well. And then 62, 94, and 103 is a compensatory selection. I mean, I was interested to see because I refreshed this page, and I'm interested to see if they got the Eagles and Saints trade in it or not yet.
Yeah,
because I know one that I use a lot is Tankathon, and they didn't have the Eagles Saints trade in there yet. So We'll see if the draft network is quick or not.
Yeah. I mean, it's only like an hour and a half old, so we'll see.
Aiden Hutchinson at 1 to the Jags, Trayvon Walker to the Lions, Kayvon Thibodeau to the Texans. Pass rushers all three. Wow. Evan Neal to your Jets. Ike Mekwanu to the Giants. Malik Willis to the Panthers. Please no. Kyle Hamilton to the Giants. Jermaine Johnson for the Falcons. Ahmad Garner for the Seahawks. George Karlaftis to your Jets. Derek Stingley for the Commanders. Jordan Davis for the Vikings. Andrew Booth for the Texans. Devontae Wyatt for the Ravens. And they were quick. Garrett Wilson to the Eagles at 15. Charles Cross, there's the tackle for the Saints at 15. Chargers still get a tackle, it doesn't matter. Trevor Penning. Zion Johnson to the Eagles at 18. That's not who they're going to pick at 18. I'm telling you that right now. They're going to pick a pass rusher or one of the linebackers here. They're not going interior offensive line. That is Drake London. So that is a perfect way for the Saints to come out of that trade. Tyler Linderbaum for the Steelers, Devin Lloyd to the Patriots, Boye Mafe to the Packers, Jamison Williams to the Cardinals. Look at that. I just said they needed wide receivers, and the draft network gives them one. Kenyon Green to the Cowboys.
One that they're not going to be able to use for the first quarter of the season anyway.
They'll draft another one, too. Trent McDuffie for the Bills, Jahan Dotson. Love that to the Titans. Okay, the Bucks. What in the world do the Bucks need? Receivers, right?
Yeah. Or the future at the quarterback position, too, but I don't think they do that this year.
Right. I still think that they are, I granted, without Bruce Arians now, I don't know how Todd Bowles feels about Kyle Trask, but they didn't draft him last year in the second round for nothing,
Yeah.
So I think eventually when Tom leaves next year, they are going to hand it to Kyle Trask if they think he's ready.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Well, so according to this, it's wide receiver or cornerback are the top two. And we got two pretty solid ones at those positions right there. And you can even throw Traylon Burks in the conversation too. But Olave or Kyer Elam or Traylon Burks, I feel like those are the top three options right there.
Yeah, and I think we got to go Kyer Elam. When we had Darius on for the Patriots mock draft, the corner class is not as deep as the wide receiver class is. So, even though we're picking at the back end of each round with the Bucks, I think we have to go corner, and we can try to find a receiver in the second round.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that too. But you're sacrificing Olave and Burks here because neither one of them is going to be here for the next pick for the Bucks.
Right.
Obviously, there's, like you said, it's a deep wide receiver class, so there's going to be somebody there. But I wouldn't be surprised if those two go in the next three picks here. I mean, obviously, we are the Chiefs, so we are probably going to pick one of them possibly because we have two picks back to back here. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the other one gets taken by the Packers right now.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Kyer Elam for the Bucks. Packers go Chris Olave. So, Traylon Burks, I love doing exactly what the Vikings did. I said this when the Tyreek Hill trade came out. Just draft his replacement with the same pick that you got. Yeah. Granted, it's not a replacement. Traylon Burks is not even close to the same thing as Tyreek Hill is. Tyreek Hill's like 5'10" or 5'9", and super, super fast. Traylon Burks is fast too. Not as fast. But Traylon Burks is also 6'2", 225. So they're going to get a big guy, and I think they're going to try to slide Mecole into that role that he has always been destined to play ever since they drafted him in 2019. So they needed a guy outside to kind of be the number one receiver because Mecole is not a number one receiver.
Yeah.
Okay, so Burks here. Now, what do we need at 30? Because there's no corners. There are no corners.
I mean,
our safeties and an edge rusher.
There's a couple good linebackers there too. And that's another need of theirs.
Yeah. I mean, I love the linebackers, especially N'Kobe Dean.
Yep.
But I think they need safety help more. I mean, I could see the Chiefs going Ojabo because they're a team that can afford to wait on his injury.
Yeah.
He was torn Achilles, so more than likely not going to play at least half of the season.
Yep.
Maybe more. So do we want a guy that is going to play right away because they didn't re-sign Tyrann Mathieu? So Daxton Hill, Lewis Seen are there for the safeties. Or do we go with the guy that has upside and we'll just have to wait and see him more than likely in 2023 instead in Ojabo?
I mean, you said that they didn't re-sign Mathieu, and yes, they didn't, but he is still available. Nobody has him yet.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, if they wanted to, they could still go out and re-sign him. And he's obviously a proven veteran, and he's proven that he can play. So, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to pass on these safeties, but again, I think that the Chiefs could still go out and re-sign Tyrann Mathieu. And like you said, they do have the ability to wait another year for their guy. So I do like Ojabo as a pick here. And I mean, again, why not? The Chiefs are definitely poised for long-term success. So
yeah, there is not much behind Chris Jones and Frank Clark. I'm kind of surprised they listed Chris Jones as a defensive end on the depth chart.
he's a tackle.
I think, yeah, but you saw the difference once Spagnuolo moved him out to end.
Yeah.
That's when their pass rush really took off this season. But if they can get a guy like Ojabo, or maybe someone else falls to them that can play this year and slide Chris Jones back in, I don't know. He was having success outside, but okay. So Ojabo to the Chiefs here at 30. Bengals go Sky Moore. Kenny Pickett to the Lions. Why is that always the pick?
That's been the pick in almost all of our mock drafts.
Harry and Winfrey to the Jags. Daxton Hill to the Lions. Kyler Gordon to your Jets. Arnold Ebiketie to the Giants. Lewis Seen to the Texans. Jaquan Brisker. That's a good one for your Jets.
I don't mind that one, yeah.
Tyler Smith to the Bears. Desmond Ridder. Seahawks get their guy. Daniel Fa'alele. They get a guy to protect Desmond Ridder. Christian Watson for the Colts. Matt Corral. Falcons get their next guy.
I like that one.
N'Kobe Dean to the Browns. He is not going to be available there. Sorry, Cleveland. Tariq Woolen to the Ravens. Jalen Petrie to the Vikings. George Pickens for the Commanders. Bernard Raymond for the Bears. Saints get their guy, Sam Howell. All right, so the Chiefs, look at that. We got a linebackers. We do need a corner. There aren't any available.
Nope.
We got to go linebacker, and it's got to be Quay Walker.
Yep.
Had a fantastic combine, and I'm not so sold on Christian Harris.
Yeah, no. I do like Quay Walker, so why not?
Yeah, the linebackers right now, they signed Jermaine Carter in free agency from the Panthers, but they do have some good young guys, Nick Bolton and Willie Gay, but not much behind them either. Darius Harris and one of your favorite guys, Elijah Lee, and Shalik Calhoun as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Quay Walker, slide him in the middle linebacker spot. Cameron Thomas, the Eagles. That's been a popular selection too, to the Eagles in the second. Chad Muma to the Steelers. Love that. Christian Harris to the Packers. Roger McCreary for the Patriots. Logan Hall to the Cards. David Bell, there's the Cowboys wide receiver. Kenneth Walker to the Bills. John Mechie for the Falcons. Trey McBride to the Packers. That is a pick for the Packers.
Unfair.
They don't give Aaron Rodgers a wide receiver, They did give him one in the first round, I think, right?
Yeah, they got Chris Olave.
Yeah. So they get a tight end now too. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is gonna be
They're
stacked.
finally doing what Rodgers has wanted for the last like 5 years.
All right. So once again, we don't have any wide receivers for the Bucks. Calvin Austin is there at 76. What are the rest of the wide receivers looking like for our last pick? So yeah, when we get to our last Bucks pick, we'll have some of these guys.
Wandale Robinson.
We'll have some of those guys hopefully available.
Yeah,
Well, never know, but
and they're definitely not desperate for wide receivers this year. So
yeah. Well, I mean,
they don't even
Godwin's,
necessarily need one.
yeah, I mean Godwin's coming off ACL, so we don't know if he's going to be ready for the start or not.
Yeah.
But other needs, we have them right here. Interior offensive line. We need some more help for Tom Brady on the offensive line. So we got 3 guys: Sean Ryan, Jamari Salyer, and Dylan Parham.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to be biased and say Salyer.
I mean, it's not much of a disparity there. It's only 4 spots according to this draft board. So it's not that big a difference. Plus, I mean, maybe it's just because you're a Georgia fan and I've heard a lot from you, but I've heard a lot more about Salyer than I have about Ryan.
Yeah.
So I definitely do like him better as well. Wait, why is running back the 4th need for the Bucks? They just re-signed.
Yeah, but they lost Ronald Jones.
But I thought they got somebody else too. Did they not? No.
They have Fournette, Vaughn, Bernard, and Barner.
Yeah, so I mean, they could go and get one of those running backs in the next round too if they needed to.
Got 2 right here. Isaiah Spiller would be probably perfect for the Bucks, but I'd rather protect Tom Brady and get a running back later.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really only need one spot. There's only one spot that they need to fill on the offensive line. It's the left guard, where Aaron Stinney is currently projected. But you know, they're good all over. Donovan Smith at left tackle, Ryan Jensen at center. They traded for Shaq Mason from the Patriots at right guard, and right tackle is Tristan Wirfs. So, yeah, Jamari Salyer going to the Bucks here. And I actually don't know why wide receiver is that big of a need, considering they signed Russell Gage in free agency.
You picked Sean Ryan on accident.
How do we go back?
Oh, well.
Yeah, I don't know how to go back unless I restart the whole thing.
No.
Well, we'll just say that's Salyer. It's
right.
kind of like our dynasty draft last year.
God, please.
Lord, that was the biggest fiasco. Oh my God, you had to be there.
All right, so corner is still the biggest need for the Chiefs, and there's still none on the top here.
Hold on, before we talk about that, I don't know why wide receiver is a big need for the Bucks. They signed Russell Gage in free agency. They still have guys, Tyler Johnson, Rashad Perriman, and Cyril Grayson, who was coming alive in the second half of the year there. And they have Scotty Miller and Jalen Darden, who they drafted 2 years ago as well. So I don't know what the big need at wide receiver is, other than Chris Godwin may not be ready for the start of the season. So that's my rant on the Bucks wide receivers. But yeah, go back to what you were saying about the Chiefs.
Well, their biggest need, according to this, is corner, and I mean, there's none right there immediately.
83. We're gonna reach for 83.
No, I like some of those other guys a lot better. So the Chiefs could get them one of those other guys with their next pick. I'm looking at Jones down there at the cornerback, not Travis Jones right there. But anyway, yeah. So corner not available. Safety, I don't know if there's any safeties available. Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
Next one is Kirby Joseph at 106.
Yeah, so they have plenty of time to get the secondary. Another big need, obviously. I mean, we mentioned running back for the Buccaneers before. Chiefs, they have CEH, and then they signed
Rojo.
yeah, from the Bucks, ironically. So I think they're set there. Offensive line is a big need, according to this too. Both tackle and interior are on the needs list. So I mean, technically, we could take Salyer here again.
Well, I'd probably go interior defensive line actually, because when you look at, if we're keeping Chris Jones at end, the interior two right now would be Derek Noddy and Colin Saunders, with Tershawn Wharton and Lorenzo Neal Jr. backing them up. So I kind of like the Marvin Leal, even if we don't move Chris Jones back inside. I think the Marvin Leal can fill in one of those needs, whether it's as a backup or if he can steal one of those two spots from the two guys right now.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, drafting a guy like that can potentially allow for Chris Jones to stay outside too. So
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Hello, Mark.
Hey guys,
What's up?
not much, you guys.
We're having a good time.
Dissecting what the Chiefs need.
Yep.
Yeah, we're on their second round pick.
I mean, I'm a believer that division got better by way of Russell Wilson and a couple of receivers. So I'm all about fixing their secondary.
Yeah, well, the board hasn't fallen their way in the secondary so far.
That was the one thing that I thought they should have tried to do when they traded Tyreek Hill, is get something in return for the secondary, more than a pick. Like, was there a player available that fit their needs on who they were talking to?
Yeah, so the players we have right now, since you probably can't see the screen, I don't know if you can or not, but for the Bucks at 27, we got Kyer Elam, and at 60 for the Bucks, we got Jamari Salyer. It says Sean Ryan, but we picked Salyer instead. I just hit the wrong button. And then for the Chiefs at 29, we got Traylon Burks with the Tyreek Hill pick. We got David Ojabo at 30, and then Quay Walker at 50. So I think we're going to go to Marvin Leal, though, right here. The board's not cooperating with the Chiefs at this point.
I wouldn't. I mean, you guys may not agree with that, but I'm a big believer in going best available, and I'm not sold on the Chiefs running backs.
Rojo and CEH?
I think CEH is injury prone, and, is Rojo going to produce? Isaiah Spiller right there, that's tempting.
Well, they also like their young guys. Derek Gore had a pretty good season for them last year in a limited role, and Brendan Knox as well, second-year guy out of Marshall. So I think they believe in their young guys behind those two. So I think that they're going to wait or maybe sign a veteran if they want to later on. Like we said, Darrell Williams is still out there, another former Chief, so could maybe re-sign him if they don't feel as well going into camp.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Mark in the sense that I don't trust the Chiefs running backs. However, this is a relatively deep running back class.
Or you could get them later.
Yeah. A lot of ground guys.
So I think that we go, and to Mark's other point, solidify the defense here. We've already done it with two other picks, with the edge and with the linebacker. And I don't know if you heard the conversation we were having. I think it was right before you got on, Mark, but if we get DeMarvin Leal here, that essentially allows Chris Jones to stay at the defensive end
Right.
where he
I like
produced
that.
a lot better
I like
last
that.
year.
Right.
All right, DeMarvin Leal to the Chiefs at 62. Bengals go Nicholas Petit-Frere, Kingsley Enagbare for the Broncos. That pick is Sean Ryan to the Jags. Chris, you're gonna have to do some editing on the Instagram post. And I guess Mark went through some bad reception. Dylan Parham to the Lions, Isaiah Spiller to the Giants, Abrams for the Texans. There you go, Chris. Brees Hall to the Jets.
There we go. I'll take it.
Darian Kendrick for the Jags, Calvin Austin to the Bears, Drake Jackson to the Seahawks, Nick Benito for the Colts, Brian Asamoah for the Falcons, Isaiah Likely. Russell Wilson gets a new tight end. Darian Kennard to the Ravens, Mario Goodrich for the Vikings, Travis Jones for the Browns, Darian Beavers to the Chargers, Carson Strong, I guess Texans. Davis Mills is still going to beat him, but Leo Chenal to the Giants, Greg Dulcich, Marcus Mariota gets a second tight end to go with Kyle Pitts. Alante Taylor, love that pick for the Eagles. Zachary Carter to the Steelers, hate that pick. Kirby Joseph to the Patriots, Ed Ingram for the Raiders, Marcus Jones for the Cards.
There goes my pick for the
Buccaneers right there.
Sam Williams for the Cowboys, Spencer Burford for the Bills, Troy Anderson to the Titans.
Or no, I meant for the Chiefs because that was who I wanted the Chiefs to get here at 94, but he went a few picks before that.
All right, so we don't have another pick for the Bucs. I think we can reach for Jalen Tolbert now. If we want to go wide receiver, like I said, I don't actually think that wide receiver is that big of a need with the guys that the Bucs have on their roster, especially with the potential talent of some of their young guys like Cyril Grayson and Tyler Johnson.
I'm kind of surprised that tight end isn't a bigger need because
right.
They lost O.J. Howard. Gronk's still a free agent. Who knows if he's going to come back or not?
Oh, whole play. Whole play.
But I'm just saying, right now, they only have Cameron Brate, I think.
Right. And Cody McElroy as well.
Yeah, well, nobody knows who that is. So so I'm surprised that tight end's not a bigger need. Not saying that we're going to reach for one right now because all the top guys are gone.
Yeah, we don't have to reach for a tight end. They're right there. Kate Otten and your favorite guy, Jeremy Ruckert.
I mean, I do like that.
We could go that way if we want to. There aren't any safeties right here. There is a punter, Matt Araiza, but I think they like Bradley Pinion.
Or add to the running back room and go with your Georgia guy right there too.
I know. I was thinking that, but I love playoff Lenny, and they just signed into a 3-year deal. So seems like they're invested, and I think they want to give Keyshawn Vaughn get him to the next step as a former second-round pick. So I think tight end is a perfectly fine. What's their interior defensive line look like? Well, see, I don't know why they classify it as interior defensive line because they run a 3-4, so it's hard to classify that. But yeah, they do need help there, though. I can tell you I have never heard of this man that is currently slotted in at the left defensive end of the 3-4 base. His name is Benning Potoa Potoa apostrophe E.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And then the right defensive end is William Golston, so that's fine.
And then they still got Vita Vea in the middle.
At nose, yeah. So I think Fidarian Mathis, I mean, they need the help.
And I mean, they could also go and re-sign
Sue
if they wanted to. Because I know he made a funny tweet saying like the Buccaneers look like a great team. They're just missing one guy or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously he's not a part of the team right now. So if you think that Mathis is going to be a bigger impact than a guy like Jeremy Ruckert, who I know you're not as high on as I am. But yeah, I think it's like, I think the three options are those three guys, Ruckert, Mathis, or Cook. Those are the three avenues we should look at.
And regardless, I think if they draft Mathis, he's going to play some, even if they would resign Sue, because they literally have nothing. There's no one right now behind William Golston on the depth chart. The only other guy they have behind that other dude is Willington Prevalin. Yeah. That's the backup to the left defensive end right now. And they have Rakeem Nunez-Roches backing up Vita Vea, and the third string there is Kobe Smith.
Wait,
So,
is JPP a free agent too?
yeah.
Or because he is a DN, right? Not a linebacker? Or is he a linebacker?
He was a linebacker, I think.
No. I thought he was DN.
No, I think he was a linebacker because he always rushed on the other side of Shaq Barrett. So, but yeah, Fidarian Mathis. You go with that, Mark?
I think that with such a thin room, you have to, even if you are licking your lips at having the Ohio State tight end, Jeremy Ruckert, I think you have to go inside D-line.
I think Kate Otten's better, but
And I mean, according to this though, too, the D line is a bigger need than tight end anyway. But
as much as I like going with like best available players, a lot of times you have to go with needs.
uh-huh.
tight end's a lesser need because they're
Right.
like projecting Gronk's going to be back.
So I mean, I'm good with that. I think that's a good pick with Mathis.
Alec Lindstrom to the Packers. Cole Strange, one of my favorite second day guys to the Niners.
And look at this.
We can get a
Now
tight end.
we can
No, we don't need tight end.
now we can go and do what Mark wanted to do in the last pick, and go with the Georgia guy there too.
What, James Cook?
Yeah, add him to that running back room.
Before that, Mark said about corners. We got some corners.
Corner's a huge need.
Josh Williams.
Wait, what is that? Why does his school say NCAA?
Because it has his school name in his hyphenated with his name. Because he's not from a Division I school. It's Fayetteville State. Mark, you know
North Carolina.
Fayetteville State?
North Carolina, Division II.
Yeah, so we have Josh Williams and Cam Taylor Britt. He's out of Nebraska. And then we have
Metariza.
Michael Wright out of Oregon down here. They have Tommy Townsend. They don't need a punter. I actually, before the Eagles made that trade today, in that 7-round CBS mock draft that I looked at, they had Ariza going to the Eagles with their last pick, 194 in the 6th round. But now he probably won't be there. He probably won't be there for the Eagles at 237.
Nope.
So, yeah, do we want to go with corner? Reach a little bit because we have 9 picks in between the 2 Chiefs picks. So who knows if either of these 3 corners are going to be there?
Well, who's still there for running backs though? That's the other question for me.
James Cook. That's it.
I think you could actually take James Cook in this, and I still think one of the corners will be there at 9 picks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I still believe in their other running backs. There aren't any safeties, unfortunately. Damari Mathis. How I would do it is I would go corner here and go Damari Mathis at 103 because they need safeties too. They did sign Justin Reed from the Texans, and they have Juan Thornhill, but behind that is Deion Bush and Devin Key.
I mean, you could. I mean, you got to shore up the secondary. You could go both, like you said.
Yeah, I forgot about safety here. I mean, I don't really know much about the later round safeties anyway, so that would be up to you.
Yeah, so I'm looking at going Josh Williams here at 94, and then hoping that we can get Damari Mathis at 103.
I just don't know enough about the Fayetteville State kid. I know enough about, Cam Taylor Britt or whatever. I just don't know the other kid really.
Yeah, Josh Williams was at the Senior Bowl. I didn't notice him too much. It's usually a bad thing when you're talking about non-Division I prospects or non-FBS guys.
Uh-huh.
So, but I mean, people are still ranking him highly. He's in the top 100 on the Draft Network, anyways.
Yeah. And I mean, the Chiefs have been known to go against the board as well. I mean, we saw that. What was that 2 years ago now? With CEH, they drafted him with the last pick as the first running back off the board. So, I mean, yeah, the Chiefs go against the grain a lot. So.
Yeah, and there's some guys on their roster that they've reached, they've taken and drafted that have been questionable when they came out. A guy like Colin Saunders, coming out of Western Illinois. They drafted Willie Gay out of Mississippi State, had some issues off the field. And then even Juan Thornhill out of Virginia, I don't think was a boom pick, or at least people thought at the time that it wasn't going to be a boom pick, and it has worked out for them. But yeah, so we're going with my strategy. Josh Williams here.
Yeah.
Bengals go Jeremy Rucker, JoJo Doman for the Broncos, Channing Tindall for the Lions, Kate Otten for the Saints. Oh, the Browns took Damari Mathis. God dang it. Kyle Phillips to the Ravens. Hey, James Cook to the Eagles. Let's go. Jesse Lucetta for the Dolphins. So what the hell do we do now?
Well, what running back?
We should have went running back, then corner. No, I'm just kidding. Because I think Mikael Wright would have been fine. I mean, out of the three of them, I think he saw the most action with the type of offenses on the West Coast. And I'm curious to see what his stats were when they played Ohio State, who has a room full of NFL wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Brian Robinson's the next running back. And I know we probably don't want to do this because they already have way too many wide receivers. But I mean, because they have Juju, MVS, Nicole, Josh Gordon, Cornell Powell, Justin Watson, Doris Fountain, Gary Dieter, Corey Coleman, Gary Jennings, Omar Bayless, and Matthew Sexton. They are packed at wide receiver. And I don't think they would go Jake Ferguson the top of the board here because they also like their tight ends behind Travis Kelce and Blake Bell, Noah Gray, who they drafted out of Duke last year. And then they got a touchdown or two from Jody Fortson this year too.
Yeah.
As well, their fourth tight end. So I don't know what we're doing. Unless we want to go double corner.
I was
thinking about Rasheed Walker to upgrade Prince Tega Wanogo and Andrew Wiley are the backup tackles right now. I think they feel good about Lucas Niang at right tackle. But Rasheed Walker, I wouldn't have an issue taking him in here either.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about the doubling down on corner because that is one of their biggest needs. And I mean, those other guys, like, we still have the pick of all of them here because I don't think any of them got drafted from our last pick to now. So I mean, they are still there, all there. But if you wanted to go a different position that we didn't draft yet, then yeah, I guess tackle's probably the best option.
Or we can do what you said, Chris, and upgrade Tommy Townsend and draft the punter in the 3rd round, Matt Ariza. He is nicknamed what was it, Punt King or Punt God, something like that.
Yeah. The question is, can he throw it like Johnny Hecker? Because then maybe, just maybe, you have some fun and take him.
He doesn't need to. You know why? Because he can punt it 60 yards almost every time, and he punted it 80 yards twice this past season.
Hey, Johnny Hecker has a leg too, but if I want to do special teams, I want to know if the kid can throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're not gonna do that.
There's no way a punter gets taken in the 3rd. I don't know, maybe.
He could. I mean, he
does have quite the leg.
He is the best punter I've seen in quite a while. I don't know when the last one was that I've seen that's been that good. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, he could. Yeah, he could definitely go in on day 2, possibly. But yeah, I guess let's go Cam Taylor, Britt. Double down on corners. Chiefs need it. So
I'm not opposed to that unless we went O-line.
Yeah. I think double down on corners.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last 2 picks, Tyreek Smith to the Rams, and I can never see the last pick. So, and the Niners go with Martin Emerson to round it out. So our picks, Bucks at 27, they go corner, Kyer Elam out of Florida. Chiefs at 29, Traylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We didn't need another wide receiver there anyways. At the last pick. Chiefs at 30, David Ojabo, edge out of Michigan. 50, Chiefs go Clay Walker, linebacker out of Georgia. Bucks at 60, that is Jamari Sawyer, interior offensive line out of Georgia. 62, Chiefs go to Marvin Leal, interior defensive line out of Texas A&M. 91, Bucks Fidarian Mathis, interior defensive line out of Alabama. Chiefs at 94, Josh Williams, corner out of Fayetteville State. And 103, Chiefs go back to the corner, while Cam Taylor Britt out of Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know really who wins. I think it's kind of even though the Chiefs have double the picks.
Yeah. The board just wasn't falling in the Chiefs' favor. That was the problem.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the Chiefs though did get a good haul though in their 6 picks.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the top 3 Chiefs. Yeah, I would probably say the Chiefs win too. I'm not that high on the 3 guys that the Bucks got. Elam, Sawyer, and Mathis. But I do like all 3 of the Chiefs' top 3 picks there. So all right, that will be posted sometime to our social media.
Yeah.
But next week, be back draft previewing once again. I guess next week I'll take off the free agency nugget there because there's not much going on in the second wave now, second and third waves of free agency. But and I'm just making sure there wasn't anything else that was happening while we were going over that. I know they're talking about Bobby Wagner on Twitter right now because they announced his jersey. They posted a picture of his jersey. He's wearing 45 for the Rams this year. 2 year, $17.5 million base. chance to make $23.5 million in incentives, $6.5 million year one, but $10 million fully guaranteed. Ravens offered him $18 million over 2 years, but he went to the more incentivized deal with the Rams. And also, he has an option, so he can be a free agent next year if he would like to. But yeah, next Monday we'll be back, continuing our mock draft series. We will be going into the second and third round picks now, with teams that don't have first round picks, starting on Friday when we do the last first round pick, number 31 with the Bengals. And then the other team we're doing on Friday is the Bears. They are the next team that has the highest pick, or the next highest pick for teams without a first round pick. But yeah, next Monday we'll be doing the Colts and Browns. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Thank you, Chris, and thank you wherever Mark went.